Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Marcia here with the Finance Bar, and thank you for tuning in for the Summertime Financially Fine Summit. Today is our last day. I know it's this afternoon, but I have an amazing guest with me today who is incredibly busy. So I'm blessed to have her with us. So if you're not catching this right now, the replay will be available. So be sure to watch that later on this evening. So as you ladies already know, I have with us Miss Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach, personal finance expert, radio and TV personality, New York Times best-selling author. So I grabbed her because Miss Lynnette is to me what Beyonce is to the Beehive. So I'm excited that she is with us today. Good afternoon, Miss Lynnette. How are you?
Hi, Marsha. I'm great. That is some high praise. If somebody compares me to Beyonce, oh, I'm going to take it.
You already know it. So listen, Miss Lynnette, I already told the ladies that you have to jump today because you have sort of a busy travel day today. But I just want to jump in and just let you know this really quickly is that we started the Summertime Financially Fine Savings Challenge the very first day of summer, and we're ending on Saturday, which is the last day of summer. Right. I did this along with the fabulous Miley Till. She is the founder of Curlbox and My Taught You podcast. So very simply put, the ladies are responsible for saving 1% of their monthly income every single week. And then they had to journal that out, tell us all about what they were doing. So my first question that I wanted to pose to you is that, can you share with me, how has saving money contributed to your own financial success?
Well, saving money has helped me in a huge number of ways. You mentioned, of course, my financial success, but yes, I would take it one step further and say it helped me with my health, to not stress about money. It helped me to achieve certain goals, like being able to send my daughter off to college, and she's a junior right now in college at the University of Texas at Austin. Mm-hmm. Saving money and becoming more disciplined helped me in my marriage, because my husband does not like it if I overspend. I can tell you that. Right? So it's funny because everybody knows me as the money coach, and obviously I teach people about personal finances, but on the spending savings scale, on that spectrum, my husband Earl is more fiscally conservative than I am. So he likes nothing better when I don't spend. Okay. So, right. For example, I was in Washington, D.C. Yesterday, and I was flying back. I had literally went in town for like 12 hours. I had to do some media. I did my TV interview. I knew it was going to be really, really super tight, getting to my flight. I did not make the flight. Long story short, the next United flight I was flying on United, the next flight back to New Jersey, and the only one that can go out of Washington National, was indeed on about 5 or 6 hours later. Wow. So I stayed in the airport for about 5 or 6 hours. When I got home, can I tell you that I told my husband, he was like, did you eat? Did you, and I said, honey, not only did I eat, I ate breakfast, I ate lunch, I had the Wall Street Journal, I had USA Today, and it was all free. I didn't spend a dime. So I took advantage of my United Lounge membership that I have. And yes, I was getting my free meals on, okay? I got all the reading that I wanted to get done and everything. So I'm just using that as an example to say that, even being more disciplined and willing to not spend as much and to save money just on an everyday basis, it's actually healthy for relationships too. My husband was like, come here, baby. He appreciated the fact that I was conscientious about it, because that airport food is expensive, right?
Very expensive. It's funny you talk about how important it is to your health and the stress level, Miss Lynnette, because the article, or one time when you were on Dr. Oz's show, you talked about stress and money. Absolutely. And that's actually the link that I shared with the ladies on yesterday, that when you did the show with him. So I think it's very important that you mentioned that. But let me take it a step further, Miss Lynnette. When it comes to, because we're at the end of the challenge now, and I know that there may have been many women that fell off when we first started the challenges, because they can be difficult if you've never really stuck to something. Right. But I think part of that problem is that we often feel deprived if we're not able to spend how we would typically spend. So now we shift to this mindset of saving money, and we're not doing a lot of things that we would typically do. What tips can you share with us for someone that may have problems with disconnecting from those emotions of what you used to do, and then shifting that over to being a little bit more financially savvy?
Well, a couple things. And one is I tell people to get with groups like yours and to have accountability partners and have friends who share the same goals. See, if your night out with your girlfriends or your sort of weekly routine is, oh, let's go shopping, or let's go out to eat, or let's go to the movies, or let's engage in some kind of a activity that requires you to spend, then of course you're going to feel the impact of that in your pocketbook and in your wallet. And you might feel emotionally like, I'm trying to keep up with everybody, or I feel bad if I'm saying no and not going to the places or doing the activities that they're doing. So when I talk about having a circle of friends who have similar values and ideas, shared goals, you can do things like what I call a financial Friday party. And that's where you get together with your friends and you're all conscientious about the fact that we're not spending, okay? If we're going to be at home together, if we're going to be having an old school party, listening to music together, we're just going to sit up and talk. If we're going to have potluck and all of us bring something and we eat together, we'll have our fellowship time together, we'll commune together, we'll connect as friends, family members, whatever. But the idea behind that time of gathering is we know we're not going out spending money.
Right.
So that's one way to sort of deal with the emotional side of it, or that feeling of deprivation, because that's really at the core for why a lot of people can't save on a consistent, long-term, sustained basis. They feel deprived. I'm always telling people in my courses and in my coaching, I say, look, don't put yourself in a budget, where you kind of like in a financial straitjacket, okay? Or where you feel like your budget is so restrictive and it's like, tighter than J-Lo's pants or something, okay? I mean, you really should have some wiggle room, some kind of give where it's okay for you to spend. Sometimes I get worried when I see people tracking everything down to the very last penny. They're like, okay, I spent $108.62. And oh, but you know what? I was off by 38 cents,
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, really? If your life is going to change because of 38 cents, you're doing something wrong. So having that set of accountability partners, being conscientious in your choices, that you do activities that are meaningful, fun, etc. for you, where you're not going to be spending, that's one way to deal with it. But then I think there are a host of other things that people can do to make sure that they keep their emotions kind of in check. One is to recognize the benefit of small steps and how they magnify over time and how they grow in power, how they magnify not just the dollars that you save, but how they develop your muscles when it comes to the discipline factor, the savings factor, and your ability to stick with it and to do anything. So in your savings challenge, for example, I don't care if they were doing the 1%, that's great. If you can say, I can only save $5 a month, that's something. Start with $5 because you'll do $5 this month, $5 the next month, $5 the third month. And then you might go, ooh, you know what? I did it. You'll have that confidence and you'll have momentum. And momentum is so super important when it comes to being on the right path financially and getting you to a life of financial freedom. It's those small baby steps that ultimately start to snowball into major moves that really make just a world of difference. So don't be upset or worried about if you think, oh, I only saved or invested a little bit. That little bit is fine, because even if you can be a saver who is disciplined, who is consistent, that's going to help you develop so many good habits. Right. And it also takes you out of that mindset that many people have about delayed gratification being a horrible thing. Like we want everything now, instant, today. We want to be able to click a button. We want to be able to call and, whether it's having something delivered to your doorstep, within 24 hours or whatever. But sometimes we have to learn patience, when you take your savings beyond just putting it into a savings account, a checking account, a money market account, and you say, let me amp it up and let me invest and make my money grow. Then you start to see the payoff that patience brings. Right. You start to get compounded interest where you're collecting interest on top of interest. So all of those so-called baby steps you take in the beginning, they're super important and very powerful in the long run.
So then, Ms. Lynnette, is that the reason why we shouldn't try to follow anyone else's savings goal then, because it has to be unique to us, correct?
Absolutely. And I think that it's more meaningful and, again, more sustainable when it's something personal for you. I happen to have 3 kids, okay? Somebody else might be single, have no kids, or have kids who are what we call G and G, grown and gone, okay?
Right.
So my savings goals, what I'm putting aside for my daughter Alexis's college education and into her 529 plan, and Alexis is 11, is going to be drastically different than the advice that I would give somebody else, or even the goals that somebody else might have if they have, you know, a 18-year-old or a 28-year-old or no kids whatsoever. So they really do have to think about the personal and personal finances.
Right. So that takes me to my next question. You mentioned goals, Miss Lynnette. How important is it that we get very, like, extremely clear on what our ultimate finance goal is?
I think it's very important to really know with clarity what your personal, professional, and financial goals are for a host of reasons. One is that for any goal you tell me, I can tell you there's a price tag associated with that goal, and you need to know what that number is. If you don't have a goal, another problem with lacking that sort of specificity and not having the clarity is that really you're just wishing, you're just kind of dreaming. So somebody might say to me, oh, you know, I want to buy a house in 2018. I know they have a dream or a wish. That's not a goal. I want to buy a house. Once they start using, you know, what we call SMART goals, goals that are specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound, once they get to that level with their goals, then I know they're serious. Right. Because the person who wants a house is going to say, by next June 2018, I want to have $25,000 saved up so I can put a $10,000, a 10% down payment on a $250,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in this town that I plan to buy, you know. So they're getting a lot more specific about what their goals are and what their ambitions are. And then the third thing that being specific about your goals does for you is that it helps you on the path. It shows you the way. If you knew, for example, okay, I need to save $25,000 in, say, 12 months or whatever, you're probably going to start doing some math and go, okay, I got to save at least $2,000 plus every single month to get there. Then you can track and measure your progress and make sure you're on the right track towards reaching and achieving those goals.
So it should be very specific, very measurable, and then you're able to track them from there.
Absolutely.
How important, Miss Lynnette, is overall financial wellness?
Well, for me personally, and frankly, in the lives of everybody that I touch, and even beyond my own immediate sphere of influence, I think financial wellness is of utmost importance. The reason that I do what I do as a money coach isn't so that I can help make other people richer, although I definitely want to help you if you want to add some zeros to the bank account. It's because financial wellness overall is going to promote your overall well-being. As we alluded to earlier, it's going to help you to not have stress or physical maladies in your life, whether that's anxiety, depression, sleepless nights, headaches, ulcers. Your physical body is very much impacted by your fiscal condition, especially if you're so worried about money. Financial wellness is also going to help you to be better in whatever career or professional endeavor you choose. You'll have more clarity, more focus, fewer distractions. You're not worried about the phone ringing and bill collectors calling you. You're able to be more creative. You're able to see better solutions and options that are available to you. But when you're, say, mired in debt, or you're stressed out because of the bills, and you're frustrated because you haven't reached your financial goals, all of that clouds your perspective, and it limits your ability to be visionary and creative. It prevents you from being bold, even to take steps towards helping yourself in the future. You know, think about the person who's cash strapped, straddled with bills or debts. They're really mired in the past, because all that spending they did in the past is weighing them down and keeping them back. They're so worried about paying past bills that they cannot focus properly on the future, let alone the present, to really see, like, what should I be doing now? All of their mind and energy is backward thinking. It's about the stuff that happened in the past. It's like, oh, I got to pay off this bill or that. They're not able to see with clarity, like, I should be taking these steps for the future. You know, what the Bible says in terms of being a wise man who's planning for his children's children.
Right.
You should be thinking legacy and the next generation and beyond. But with financial problems, it's very, very hard to break out of that mindset and stop, worrying so much about the past.
Oh, that's so good, Miss Lynnette. Tell me what you said, Miss Lynnette, again, because that's a tweetable. You mentioned your physical body is very much connected to your physical condition, or did I mess it up?
You nailed it. Yes,
that's it.
That's absolutely it. So finances go beyond dollars and cents. If finances impact your relationships, your physical well-being, and even your career choices and your personal creativity. So don't just think about money matters in the context of how many dollars can I earn, how much can I save, what can I invest. Think about the way in which it's going to transform your life, making you a healthier person, giving you greater confidence to be successful in your career, giving you greater clarity to be able to see a vision for what you can and should be doing, and then helping you to even establish a legacy. Some folks want to start foundations. They want to run nonprofits. They want to change the world in very meaningful ways, but they can't because of their financial condition. They're so bogged down by the problems they have that every week they wake up on Monday and they're like, I owe, so off to work I go. They can't afford to even volunteer because, giving, and we're in that, coming up to that season of giving.
Yes. When
the holidays are going to be approaching very quickly. And also because what we've seen in the world with natural disasters, whether it's the earthquake in Mexico, the hurricane that hit in Houston, Hurricane Harvey, what we've seen in the Caribbean with Hurricane Maria, a lot of people want to give. Sure, they want to donate their money, but some people might want to donate their time and their talents. There's many different ways, many different treasures that we all have that we can give. But when you're financially unhealthy, it restricts your ability to give in whatever manner you choose.
Oh, that's so good. Miss Lynnette, before I go, can you tell us what should we remember? Because the challenge ends on Saturday. What words of inspiration can you leave with the ladies as they move forward once this challenge is over?
Sure. I want them to remember that they have everything that they need within them, that they shouldn't have to and don't need to compare themselves to what other people are doing, that they don't have to berate or belittle themselves or to come down with a hammer because of any past mistakes, any failures, or any setbacks they've had. That past trial and tribulation that you went through in the past, that can become your testimony in the future. So don't be so discouraged by circumstances or by what you might perceive as modest progress that you don't recognize the enormous impact that you're making on your life and on, frankly, the lives of those around you just by taking baby steps. So whether it's saving 1% of your income or taking it to the next level and saying, I'm going to save and invest, every little bit counts. As long as you stay on the path towards progress, you're doing a wonderful thing for yourself financially.
Absolutely. Where can everyone find you, Miss Lynnette?
So you can check me out online at askthemoneycoach.com. That's my free financial advice site. We also launched in 2017 moneycoachuniversity.com. That's the online school I have where I have all my video courses, and some are free, some are paid. And then of course on social media, find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. It's just The Money Coach. So it's just find me. If you Google The Money Coach, you're going to find me.
You'll find you there. Thank you so much, Miss Lynnette. I always appreciate your time.
You're so very welcome. And keep doing the amazing, wonderful job that you're doing. I'm so proud and so happy for you. I pray for you, I pray for everybody in our industry because I know we're all changing lives and touching people in different ways. And it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Lynnette. I appreciate that. And you have safe travels today, okay?
Thank you. Off to the Midwest with my son for the last 2 college visits.
Right. Bye-bye.
All right, Marsha, take care.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.